for the European Championship here at Sjusjøen this week. But fear not, there's more Biathlon coming up with the IBU Cup the following week.
Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and then we have the Olympics in Alterselva.
Ja.
We are going to give the French some hard time.
What?
Give the French some hard.
Jurymøte avholdt, og Inger.
Ja.
5-4.
5-4 sagt?
Nei, 5-7.
På 5-2. Ikke 5-1.
Den vil du ikke ha.
Lykke til!
Takk skal du ha.
Well, a very warm welcome back to the women's 4x6 kilometre biathlon relay. It's the last race of the 2026 Open European Championships here in Sjusjøen, Norway at the Natrastillen Stadium. The snow's been falling now for days on end. The temperature has not risen above -10 degrees Celsius. It's cold, it's wintry, it's exactly what we all want to see. And after a series of exceptional races, we have yet one more to bring you. And this is the stadium. The beautiful view of the tracks, which now you can have a look at the graphic, which shows you where they will be weaving in amongst these snowy Norwegian trees, down to the bottom of the track, which is here, and there is the highest part and hardest part of the course, and including the steepest hill where we've seen many make their move. And I'm sure today that will be much the same as before. As for the wind conditions, it's not stable, it fluctuates, but it isn't too tricky. That said, we've seen some of the most amazing or perhaps surprising amount of penalty loops on the first laps of the men's races, and I imagine we will see many again today. Of course, relay competitions have additional levels of pressure, which sometimes see these biathletes crumble on the range where normally in an individual they would not. Antonin Giganat was on the penalty loop in the prone shoot, as we take a look once again at this jaw-dropping scenery. And now the start list. France. Can they be beaten? Well, not only are they the strongest team with the top 4 finishers yesterday, top 5, they are the overall leaders as well on the IBU Cup total score as individuals. And they haven't even included in their team Beauté or Mongeat of France, and still are fielding what seems to be an unbeatable team. Sweden are wearing bib number 2 with Sara Andersson, Anna Hedström, Annie Lind, Emma Nielsen taking out the last leg, a strong anchor for Sweden. Germany with Brown taking out bib number 1. Her best result was in the individual, missing 2 targets, 15th place. She's going to have a lot of work to do. Now, as for strategy, if the French just decided to go from the start with an incredibly fast pace, there is no doubt that they would be able to break the others. But will they be conservative, or will they be complacent? Bib number 6 now, Dunjas Duch and Lara Wagner, Wilma Anhaus, and Lea Roskopf of Austria. As we turn to the home stars, where the Norwegians are fighting for another medal today. Kalkenberg taking out leg 1 with Erdal on leg 2, Arne Kliev on leg 2, and Yttehus on leg 4. Samuela Kamola now and Martina Trabucci, they have a strong team. Carpella Fabiana and Linda Zingerli, all strong, and Italians certainly one of my favorites today to get up there, but certainly not as high up the list as France, whose biggest weakness today would be complacency, thinking that it's in the bag, and then that getting to their heads and watching the targets fail to fall down. But Sweden wearing bib number 2 with Sarah Andersson on leg 1, and here now wearing bib number 3 you have Germany. Marike Braun taking out leg number 1, and Hannah Kebinger on 2, Julia Kink on 3, and Marlene Fichtner, a strong anchor leg. The sun is peering out on the horizon underneath this fog and snowfall for the final race of this Open European Championships. You can see the landscape going far off into the horizon. These open plains and fjells of Norway, some of the most beautiful scenery in the world. These biathletes have the privilege of racing here. And we are off now for the last race of the 2026 Open European Championships. The women's 4x6 kilometer biathlon relay. And over the next hour and a half, we will see the drama unfold, as already the 18 teams clustering on that first hill, vying for space in an ever narrowing track. As they get round this top hill, so much will be decided by the tactics of the French team. Led initially now by Celia Hanaf, after her 2 silver medals on 2 consecutive days and a 7th place in the individual, is one of the favourites. But the French team could have fielded any sequence of 4 of their 6 and still be considered the favourites. Taking a look at the overall standings on the IBU Cup Nations Cup score, France is atop, clear by 500 points. At the top of the IBU women's total score, Paula Beauté, who is not starting today in this French team, and Amandine Mongeon in 5th place in the overall standings, still under 23. She is not starting today, perhaps due to the fact that they were a little bit off the pace in the pursuit in terms of ski speed, and maybe the coach is now looking sensibly ahead to the races to come, still here in Sjusjøen on the IBU Cup next week, and saying, right, it's time to give their legs a rest and for Paula Beauté to fight for that overall score, indeed against her teammates. As we take a look at the speed these biathletes come down these hills, through these snow-covered Norwegian trees. And there might not be much color variation in that image, but it is a true scene of winter. Something that we often yearn for in the biathlon circuit, and yet here it is. So now already you can see that there is a leading group who have managed to separate themselves from the chasing pack on that downhill. It's a lot more elongated than the men's race, which became quite congested early on, and that clustering effect allowed some of the smaller nations to climb up. But then we did see our 3 favorite nations drop way down the order. Now your leader, Sara Andersson, able to dictate the pace. Now Sara Andersson cannot match the ski speed of Silje Henaf. However, Silje Henaf is not just allowing Andersson to take the lead, but also allowing Kamola of Italy, another one of the fastest, to relax in ahead of her. And that, to me, calls into question the strategy here, where the French could quite easily utilize those powerhouses in terms of ski speed on lap 1 and open up a gap early, but choosing to play it tactically, nice and relaxed, as these 18 nations contend. Still together, connected, although stretching out somewhat the time from front to back. Andersson at the front and Imont at the back for Belgium, 13.1 seconds, the gap. And now, the biggest risk to France here in this race is complacency. Everybody knows that the French team has come here to this European Championships and absolutely dominated. To have 5 in the pursuit competition in the top 5, Beauté, Mongeon, Chavot, Henaf, Gigonat, is absolutely phenomenal. But it is always possible that the complacency that can come from that, in thinking, well, it's not about whether we win, but how much we win by, that kind of mindset is the only thing that can be the French team's undoing. They have to focus on the process and what's worked so well till this point. The French, in the overall medal standings, are at the top. They will be by the end of the day. 12 medals in total, 4 golds. But here we are, coming now into the shooting range for the first time. They will go onto the mats that correspond with the numbers on their bibs. So France will filter into lane 1 with Silje Henaf. Sara Andersson of Sweden into lane number 2. And Brown of Germany onto lane number 4. 3. The first shots to go down, Austria and Slovakia. It's Cam shooting across the board, with Slovakia getting the most down as Ukraine first to get all 5 away, but with 2 misses. Finland have 5 hits and they're down, with Sweden getting the rifle on the back without the use of a single spare, all 5 targets down. And already Henaf of France is down. Sara Andersson in the lead. Janka of Finland in second. And Nezda Kubinic of Poland in third. Austria in fourth and Norway in fifth, followed by Germany. And then 12.4 seconds later, we have the French. Now, are the French just teasing an early down set, or could this be the beginning of the French team's undoing? It will all play out over the next hour. Excellent composure from Andersson of Sweden. 4 athletes managed to get the perfect 5 out of 5 without using any spares. Much lower statistics than we're used to seeing in mass starts, where 50% of the first arrivals onto the mat go clear. In this case, just less than 1/3 went clear without spares. But only 2 on the penalty loop, one of whom was Dimitrenko of Ukraine and Kryukova of Kazakhstan. But now here's your leader, Sara Andersson. She's skiing powerfully and managing to keep her competitors at bay so far. Janka's dropped down to third, and Nezda Kubinic of Poland is up in second. Sjusjøen on the chase. And here comes Italy. Now, I imagine Komola is going to want to open up and attack, close that gap. She was 21 seconds coming out of shoot number 1. That's a significant margin, considering she only used 1 spare round, and she's one of the fastest. Best result in the individual was 16th, 3 mistakes. The sprint, 4 mistakes, 41st. She's a fast skier. The 11th fastest course time in the pursuit for Andersson. She skied faster than Komola. And as we approach the 3.3 kilometer mark, you can see there the stream just behind the track, and on the other side, the track that goes down the hill. So the athletes get a chance to take a look at each other, a glance, and see where they are in relation to the leaders. But there's Sara Andersson, and you can see the foreshortened view of this lens, giving the impression of a much denser leading group than it actually is, with Silja Hanaf saying that she is absolutely dissatisfied with that 12.4 seconds back out of the range, and has already clawed almost all of it back on Andersson. At what cost? Such pace, 10 seconds caught now on Sara Andersson from Silja Hanaf. That is going to be expensive. Sjusjøen in third. Janka in fourth for Finland. Brown in fifth. And Kalkenberg in sixth. Nezda Kubinic of Poland is dropping down the pace. And Komola came out of the range 21.6 back and has only got that down to 19.6 seconds. So it's clear to see that she is fatigued. And here is the plateau. Over the top of the highest hill, it sinks down very slightly, but they still have to work over the top here. As it curves to the right, it's still go, go, go. No real recuperation after that very steep incline. But then they get a nice gliding recovery over the top of this next hill into the shooting range, where Andersson has decided to tuck in behind Silja Hanaf. Hanaf with the third fastest ski time, a whole 40 seconds faster than Andersson in the individual, excuse me, in the pursuit. But what to expect in the shooting range? Well, in prone shooting, Andersson is around 82%, and in the stand, Andersson is around 60%. However, Henaf is 82% in prone on average across the season, hit rate, and in stand 73%. So Henaf still being let down more often than she'd like by her stand shooting. And in arbor, in the short individual, she came 91st with 11 mistakes. So is capable of crumbling on the range. So now they come in for shoot number 2 of this 8-shoot race. And the favourites are in the lead and will filter on to mat number 1, with Sweden in second place and Austria in third. All hits so far across the board, and it's fast shooting from Andersson. It's fast shooting from Sjusjøen. It's accurate from both. And Andersson gets the rifle on her back with the perfect 10 out of 10. No spares required as Henaf has to use yet another spare. Norway, they go clear. And Finland is also out without the use of any spares. That is fantastic shooting from Janka. France is now out. 1 spare round required, but time lost. Germany finally got all 5. 2 out of the 3 spares were used, but Italy now out and off the map, but farther behind than Kamola would have hoped at this point in the race. Slovakia just go through by the skin of their teeth. USA 5 for 5. Now that really is great shooting there from Kaskongue of USA. Lithuania, they're out. 1 spare needed. Same with Estonia, but Czechia are on the penalty loop. Guaranteed once, maybe twice. And just as I said it, it is twice. Dixon of Canada now in 11th place. Coming into the shooting range in 14th, climbing to 11th for the Canadians. But now an upset. Only a small upset, but perhaps foreshadowing more surprises to come. Andersson, with total control in the range, managed to get all of the targets down without using any spares. Now, looking back through Sarah Andersson's results, you would certainly not have projected that kind of shooting. In the last 2 years of racing, she's only done that once, and that was in Kontiolahti in the sprint in 2024-25 season. So that really was an outstanding and uncharacteristic shooting there from Andersson when she needed it the most. So great work from the Swede, but equally great work from Sjusjøen. 9 out of 10. 1 spare needed and only 1.9 seconds down behind Sweden at the end of shoot number 2. But you can see that that 1.9 seconds has evolved. Andersson now has a big gap. There's 4 who are bunched all together, and that 4 perhaps now includes Henaf. That could be Henaf in the back, although it's hard to see from this distance. So I'll update you. But Henaf, of course, very fast on the skis, but did work hard on lap number 2 to get up there. But your chasers, Sjusjøen Kalkenberg of Norway, Janka of Finland, Neza Kubinec of Poland, and Silja Henaf of France, all within 20 seconds. Really powerful doppel dance, V2, one skate, whatever you want to call it, from Sarah Andersson as she breaks into the uphill technique as late into hill as she can manage for this final charge. And here is the steepest part now. And she's been told by her coach just how great she's doing. 16:25 is the time as she comes past the 5.3 kilometer checkpoint, only 700 meters to go. And would you look at that, Celia Hanaf has managed to get past the chasing group and now is on the heels of Sarah Anderson with only 10.7 seconds back. Kalkenberg has no response from Norway. She's 13.7 back. Stuic is 15 back. Janka slowly dropping off the pace. And now Brown climbing from 23 seconds back all the way to 16. So the German putting in the work on this last lap to really regain some of that lost time on account of her 3 spare rounds used. What a start for Sweden. And Emma Nielsen, the anchor leg for Sweden, will be looking at this with a great deal of optimism. And look at that power over the top, fighting for every single pole plant to be maximally effective. And there it is, the finish for Sarah Andersson. She's going to hand over to her team, and that will mark 1/4 of the race done for Sweden. And now Andersson coming in. She'll be handing over to Anna Hedström as she rounds the final corner. Kalkenberg there in the tuck position, just braking. But now, here is your leader after leg number 1. We have Sarah Andersson handing over to Hedström of Sweden with a significant lead over the French. And in fact, Norway managing to get into second place. What a performance there from Kalkenberg. France failing to maintain their pace over the last lap. And Celia Hanaf burnt out, 3rd position on the handover. And Germany at the exchange in 4th, Austria in 5th, and Finland in 6th. So what happened to Celia Hanaf over the top of that hill? There was only 3 seconds between them, but Hanaf had already got past. And now Poland in 7th, Italy in 8th, and Slovakia in 9th place. Ukraine has unfortunately been already round the penalty loop once, and that accounts to some degree for their 1 minute and 7 seconds back at the 5.3. But now at exchange number 1, 1 minute and 12 seconds behind. And Kasangwe of United States of America are 1 minute and 15 back, again at the 5.3, and they come through at 1:24 back. Great shooting, but now a tough position for Sweden. An unexpected early lead earned by Sarah Andersson, and now Galmas Paulin is the next to contend. How many times did the French replay in their mind, or have it said to them, or did their minds conjure up the thought themselves, it's going to be an easy win? There is no more damaging a thought for a team to have than that. I heard it said in an interview, it's not about whether they win, it's how much they win by. And those kinds of ideas need to stay out of the minds of the athletes so that they focus on their process. Otherwise, Voldia Galmas Paulin could struggle, as she did in the sprint, only gaining 1 point, despite the fact that she's 3rd in the overall standings on the IBU Cup for the women, with 756 points, only 4 points behind Sophie Chauveau, her teammate. But in the sprint, Voldia Galmas Paulin missed 4. 40th place. She climbed to 19th, 21 spots with 4 mistakes, so was skiing incredibly well. But perhaps she needs to ease off more coming into the range. At exchange number 1, Kalkenberg did something really special and perhaps unexpected, managing to get in ahead of Celia in half, so a really good sprint finish for her over the last 500 meters. Would have loved to have seen it. Of course, it happened off screen. But now Galmas Paulant 6 seconds back, Kerbinger 7.3 and Erdal of Norway 11.3. Erdal not expecting to stay up there in terms of ski speed. It's going to need to rely on her shooting. And of course, as is always the case with relays, we can expect a lot more penalty loops to come from the top 10. At this current point, as Traubucci comes through the checkpoint, only 2 spares used for the Italians, but way off the pace. 7th currently, Remenova in 8th place, and Poland in 9th place. It's a very fast pace led at the front. But the first of the teams with a penalty loop comes in at 10th, and that's now Ukraine. And I do think it's reasonable to project that by the end of this race, more than half of the top 10 will have been around the penalty loop. That is consistent with the statistics of relay races. And now Anna Hedström of France has come under the bridge in the lead for Sweden, with the favourites in 2nd place, leading Kerbinger of Germany and Erdal of Norway. So we're coming now into the shooting range for the 3rd time, but the first time for these athletes on leg 2. Sweden has a 6-second lead over France. And Galmas Paulant of France has got a 1-second lead over Germany. They're all side by side now and in somewhat synchronization. It felt like a lifetime to get that first shot down. Galmas Paulant, the first to do it. Kerbinger of Germany, she's shooting the fastest. It's 4 out of 4, 5 out of 5 for Germany, with a miss from France and Sweden. Galmas Paulant now loading in a spare as Norway is in trouble, having missed 2 out of 3. And Hedström missing her first spare round. She needs to get this fast, because would you look at that? Hanna Kerbinger is in the lead with perfect shooting. And although France and Sweden are both clear side by side coming out of the range, Kerbinger has a lead for Germany. Once again, France is on the chase. France in 2nd, Sweden in 3rd. Norway, better late than never, but out of the shooting range now in 4th place. 30 seconds back from Erdal. And then some fast shooting from the Italians, 5 out of 5. But Koski of Finland is next for Finland in 5th place, and Traubucci in 6th for the Italians. And now Poland has 1 more spare round and 1 target still standing. And she gets it. She desperately needed that target to go down, but now Hojny Starega of Poland can breathe a sigh of relief as she comes out. Wagner of Austria is in 8th place, the Austrians having been around the penalty loop. Steblina of Ukraine in 9th, and Hojny Starega of Poland in 10th. With a really lovely skate 1 hill technique there from Hojny Starega. this was the shoot that saw Germany catapult to the front. Kebinger, total control. Those 5 shots went down so easily, and she has earned herself a gigantic lead, which you can see now. No other athletes in sight as she glides down that nice recovery phase as she approaches the corner, where she'll turn around, and through the snow-covered trees she will see Galmas Paula and Hedström of Sweden on the chase. But she has no reason to be frantic, to go too fast. It's all about composure as she takes in this moment of an unexpected lead ahead of the French, which is now the second leg where we can say that the French are just hanging on in there to the top spot rather than being in control. Something that would not have been easily predicted at the start of today's race. How hungry are the Germans, the Norwegians, the Swedes, the Finns, the Italians to get on top of that podium? And how hungry are the French after having stood atop the podium 4 times, 4 gold medals? Hannah Kebinger in the lead for Germany now at the 9.3 kilometer mark. Galmas Paula of France now on the chase, but down 16.3 seconds. She's only gained 0.3 seconds since the shooting range, so realistically now Voldia Galmas Paula needs to focus on her gains coming from the shooting range and the last lap. Erdal of Norway, 38 seconds down. She was 30 seconds after the range, so has lost 8 seconds till this point. And Germany's prospects are looking good. After Hannah Kebinger, if she can get these targets down and hand over with the lead, Julia Kink is one of the top biathletes at this European Championships. Her worst result was 13th in the individual, missing 3. Skiing so fast. 6th in the sprint, 8th in the pursuit. Galmas Paula is on paper, from this World Championship, the worst or least strong of the French, despite the fact that she's one of the best on this IBU Cup circuit. And here comes the Germans now in towards the shooting range, where Kebinger has another opportunity to put her shooting on display. 76% her hit rate across the stand shooting this whole season. 29 World Cup starts under her belt. She raced on the World Cup in Novo Mesto. And now Kebinger is coming in towards mat number 1, lane number 1, to shoot stand. Her last visit to the range for this European Championships. Five strong breaths precede a hit and then a miss just as the poles clatter down for France. And there comes another miss for Germany. Kebinger is in trouble. Galmas Paula and Hedström shooting in unison, getting the targets down, but Hedström just pulling away with accurate, fast shooting. Can she get 5? She can. Sweden are back in the lead and done in style. France with 2 misses, matching the Germans' pattern, but now Kebinger must get this last shot, 1 remaining round. Anna Hedström is in the lead and out already. Now Germany managed to avoid the loop. They are out and they will be in second place. But by how much? Galmas Palan needs to get this last shot. One target remaining, one spare round remaining. As Norway are next to get out of the range, Galmas Palan does manage to get the shot down and is now dropped yet another spot. And Erdal, doing exactly what she was supposed to do today, manages to get out in third place, 36 seconds off the lead, and most importantly, 1.6 seconds ahead of France, who are in fourth. Italy now managing to get 5, but not before Slovenia with Remenova. Slovakia, I should say. Excuse me. And Finland now on the range, shooting clear so far, getting the 5th shot. That's fantastic shooting for Finland. Another opportunity to climb. As Poland are on the mat. With Hojny Starega getting all 5 targets. Beautifully, accurately, fast, clean shooting there from Poland. And Zura Skaita of Lithuania right on her heels, and thus makes up the top 10 at the end of shoot number 4. But Kebinger, she came in with a lead of 17.2 seconds and now leaves the shooting range in second place, down 20.3 seconds. A time exchange of 37 seconds. Now, when you think somebody's coming into the range for the very last time on the last shoot and they have a 37-second advantage, just notice how vulnerable a leader can be to chasers in biathlon. Kebinger will have just seen the small dot in the distance of Hedström, who has that advantage. Erdal and Galmas Palan now chasing, but Galmas Palan, certainly the fastest of the duo, will almost certainly be trying to get past and then catch up with Kebinger of Germany. But she needs to make a move on this hill, still allowing the Norwegian to take the lead. Erdal with fast skis, undoubtedly being on home snow at the hands of wax technicians who have been around this course many, many thousands of times, more so than any other support crew. That makes a difference. Your leader, Anna Hedström of Sweden, as the chasing trio are beginning to form into a single chasing entity. Kebinger being quickly pulled in by Erdal, who must be really fighting hard on this last lap, because Galmas Palan of France has not gone past. That is an indication of speed. Erdal 25 seconds back, Kebinger 19 seconds back. And Erdal coming out of the range was 41.3, so closed, or excuse me, she was 36 and has closed 9 seconds on the lead. Kebinger only a second. Galmas Palan was 37 coming out of the range, now 26, so 11.6 seconds. All the way, hele vägen. Hedström has a gap. The camera almost seemed to be waiting there forever before Kebinger rounded the corner. Kebinger is in trouble. She is struggling, and Erdal has done the most phenomenal job on the skis on this last lap. She was 36 seconds down behind Hedström, And then, perhaps due to the skis being so quick, combined with form coming together, Erdal has managed to keep Galmas Pala behind her. But here's your leader now, Hedström of Sweden, handing over at the exchange in first place. And now Annie Lind of Sweden will be taking it out in the lead, and that lead is significant. Kebinger has been caught by Erdal and Galmas Pala. So now, three of the favourites all handing over together. And now Sophie Chauveau is on the tracks for France. Julia Kink is on the tracks for Germany. And Anne Kliev is on the tracks for Norway. So this battle is certainly going to be interesting. But Sophie Chauveau, double bronze medalist in the last two races in the last 2 days before today. And now Trabucci in a sprint finish against Remenova. Both of them working really hard before their exchanges. And a great job from Slovakia at this point in the race, handing in ahead of Italy just by 0.9 seconds. And Italy now with Carpella on the track. Carpella, her best result, 29th place overall. But Molentova of Slovakia, her best result with a clean shoot in the sprint, 24th. Therefore, could be on for a good one today as Vilma Anhaus of Austria now has the baton in 7th place. And here, now out on the tracks, are your chasers. Once again, playing catch-up, the favourites, Team France, Poland, Lithuania and Finland, all coming to the exchange together. Lydia Zukarakis and there's Daria Gambika, excuse me for my pronunciation there, as Lithuania, Poland and Finland all go out together as a trio. And now we're back out in the cam in this most beautiful landscape. It seems peaceful from this elevation, but then you need only zoom in and be in amongst it from the athlete perspective, gasping for air. -10, filling their lungs with cold oxygen. And then if you go inside the mind of these biathletes, the storm, not just of trying to cope with the pain, but cope with the pressure. Hedström did an absolutely fantastic job for Sweden. She had the best time out of everybody, really pulling together an absolutely amazing result today for Sweden. But now the pressure is with Annie Lind. And inside her mind, nobody knows what she's thinking, but I would not like to be chased by Chauveau, by Julia Kink and by Arne Kliev, all of whom have top 10 results here at this championships. And perhaps Arne Kliev, the best rested among them. She didn't start in the individual. She raced the sprint, 14th place with one mistake, a very good indication of her form in this particular format. The sprint correlates most closely to the ability to perform a good relay race. And Arne Kliev did a 14th place and climbed to 9th with 3 penalties in the pursuit. So we can expect Arne Kliev to be on good form. Kink has been getting better and better. She started off with a 13th in the individual, then a 6th, but falling to 8th in the pursuit. Carpella now coming through. The 21-year-old, born in Cavalicia, Italy. She juggles her studying alongside biathlon, the two disciplines of studying something proactively, working the brain, and doing the physical activity of biathlon, do go together in perfect harmony, I should say, except for the fatigue. It'd be hard to focus on studying when the body is exhausted. But look now at the gap. Lind has a 12-second lead at the 13.3 kilometer mark. However, she did have an 18.5 second lead over Sjusjøen of France. So the gap is closing. And by the time Lind gets her elbow down onto the mat, she's lost another 6 seconds since the 13.3K. She will hear the poles clattering down from Sjusjøen, Kink, Arne Kliev, and she will know that she is being hunted, and every single miss or wasted second will be exploited by the French, Germans, and Norwegians. The pressure is now on. First shot away by Lind. Arne Kliev, last to get down, but first to get 2 shots away at the same time now as Lind. But Arne Kliev with a miss. Kink now shooting well. That's 4 for 4. Likewise, Sjusjøen going clean. And it's a fantastic shoot now from Kink, who gets 5 out of 5. No spares required. Arne Kliev, she gets all the targets down. And once again, France is in trouble as Lind dances up off the mat. She's away, and Sjusjøen with another miss. So this is now adding to the pressure for France. Julia Kink is away with Arne Kliev in second place and Lind in third, and France finally getting all the targets down. Not even enough time for Sjusjøen to close her top snow cover. Again, France is chasing. And that reality only makes the fact of their struggle in this race more pronounced. Carpella, 5 for 5. A strong performance from the Italians. And they are staying in this race, clinging on to the window within which they can still get onto the podium should one of the top nations make an error. Molentova, absolute control. All 5 targets go down, and easily so. Now Austria, Poland, Lithuania, and Finland all together on the mat. Austria did leave with Anhaus ahead of that chasing trio, but Sandnes of Finland did drop down the order. Anhaus, great shooting there, 5 out of 5. But all of the competitors ahead of her are long gone. Now this really is heating up to be an exciting race. I think almost everybody who has been keeping tabs on these races as the days have gone by had in their head a scenario where France would be minutes ahead by now, dominating. But there France is, trailing, struggling to get onto the back of the Swedes, the Norwegians, and the Germans. And certainly not that anyone hopes for that outcome. They have had such dominance, it's just unexpected. And it's not like something disastrous has happened. The French have not ended up on the penalty loop. It's just all the other nations performing so well. Lind, Arne Kliev, Kink. Fantastic shooting, such composure. And now the top 10 still with only one nation on the penalty loop. That throws my statistics way out the window, where I still believe that is more than likely that half will end up on the loop. At this point, I could not be more wrong. And just take a look at that. What a place to race. Now Arne Kliev is looking dynamic. Kink, comfortable. And Lind is really managing to stay on the backs of the skis of the German and Norwegian, following the rhythm of Kink. It can be a really technical thing to follow the rhythm of another skier and avoid their poles and clipping their skis and getting in a tangle. It takes a lot of practice. Martin Fourcade, one of the absolute masters of getting right on the heels of the competitors and managing to avoid those poles. Chauveau now, 4th place. 17.3 seconds back. So, leaving the shooting range 23.1, gaining 6 seconds on the skis. So Chauveau is closing the gap. Lind has closed the gap. And now the Italians with Carpella on the chase. 50 seconds down at the end of shoot number 5. Let's just see now how that's evolved. It looks like it's going to be some 4 seconds slower. So now time lost by the Italians, exactly 4 seconds. But a great performance from Lithuania and of Slovakia. Molintova leading the way, 6th place right now for the Slovakian. And we are nearly 3/4 of the way through this race as they round the final downhill in towards the stadium. One more stand shoot to go before these athletes can battle it out just on the skis. And soon it's going to be so hard to fight the realization that the French are not in control and that all eyes are going to be on Arne Kliev, Kink and Lind as they are now into the range. They'll all hear Chauveau land on the mat, which she will do likely before anybody else gets a shot away. So they will be gearing up to take their first shot at the moment that the favourites drop their poles onto the mat. A challenging fact to overcome for these biathletes now. And there it is. At the exact moment the poles drop, Arne Kliev gets the first shot away, but it's a hit. Kink struggling with the first miss, but getting the rest of the shots down quickly. Lind, much more measured, much more controlled, and she hasn't missed so far, but still Arne Kliev gets away, one spare in, and it's a hit. Lind now missing the last shot, but Germany is away, and Chauveau is away and on the chase. She didn't miss a single shot there in stand, and that gap is now closing. Kink has work to do because she has Chauveau on her heels, just 5 seconds down. But it's close at the front. Lind in 4th place, 17 seconds down off the lead, but only 7 seconds down off Chauveau. And what incredible performances at the top. Everyone pulling together to make it so hard to close those seconds down. A great shot here to show the perspective of a biathlete in the range as Carpella loads in her spare and gets it seemingly easily. They're shooting the size of a small dish 50 meters away while their heart is pounding out their chest. Their lungs are screaming, their legs are aching. The mat is slippy, the fingers are cold, and they have to get these targets down, but none of those elements having anything on the mental and psychological pressure they face when they're next to their opponents and fighting for their team. 2 misses now for Molintova of Slovakia. Turning to the track now, Arne Kliev absolutely soaring away. She had a 5.8 second lead. She has certainly opened that up. Sjusjøen has gone past Kink from Germany, and she's trying to make a move, trying to close that gap, but Kink is not letting her go. She's struggling to hang on. Sjusjøen just has that extra bit of power. And now, Molantova of Slovakia, 6th place, behind Italy in 5th place. And Poland looking strong on the range. Arne Kliev, the 26-year-old, born in Lillehammer, resides in Lillehammer, just 25 minutes from here. She knows this range, this stadium, like the back of her hand. And she utilized that knowledge to dominate on the last standing shoot that she will do for this Open European Championships 2026. Now she knows how to pace this track. She knows that the hill she is about to endure is punishing. And she knows that Sophie Sjusjøen, her competitor, is one of the fastest on the track. Sjusjøen had the fastest course time in the pursuit just yesterday by a whopping 27 seconds. So now it really is reassuring that the French, and one of their favorites and best, were not able to catch up and get into the lead. So all the predictions are getting thrown out the window now as Arne Kliev causes yet another upset. And at this point, lap 9 of 12, 4 leading nations all within 1 shot from the camera, and perhaps 1 shot on the range as well if it goes wrong. That is unexpected. Sjusjøen has opened a gap of 3 or 4 meters over Kink, and that's the moment there. Kink, you can see her pace dropping off. She's in agony, and Sjusjøen is going to open up now, perhaps closing on Arne Kliev, maybe to 5 seconds come the changeover. And Kink, we can expect to really drop down. She's tired. Final words of encouragement now. This is pressure. Oh, and almost a shame. So much pressure now on the shoulders of Guro Yittehus. What an unbelievable race. Kink is so tired. She hasn't managed to stay with Sjusjøen. And what a race by Arne Kliev. Fantastic. And here it is. The nerves will be jangling as Guro Yittehus is about to get underway for Norway in the lead, in ahead of the favorites of Germany, of Sweden. And now Sjusjøen, look at that gap she's opened up over the Germans. But here's your changeover now as we see Arne Kliev handing over to Yittehus in the lead. And the final exchange. France now in 2nd place, still chasing down as they have throughout the entire race. And Germany in 3rd at exchange number 3. All of them within 12.9 seconds. And Kink handing over to Marlene Fichtner. Fichtner is one of the best shooters. Emma Nielsen is one of the top racers in terms of overall points. She's 6th on the IBU Cup total score, and she has now got the baton for Sweden in 4th. So a strong final leg for Sweden, and they came into this race with intent to get on that podium. Now, who has France got on their last leg? Well, not just any old racer, it's Gillian Guigonat, 2-time gold medalist at this European Championships. And she, in both races, could have given more. As we see Italy now handing over in 5th place, Linda Zingerli. Her father, an Olympian and a coach. And here are your leaders. Now the pressure, the pressure mounting, and let's see how will Guro Yitterhus cope. She's 21 years old, and she has a 2-time European champion just 7 seconds behind her. That's got to be an uncomfortable feeling. Where has Yitterhus been? Well, she raced in the World Cup in Novo Mesto and just missed out in the single individual from the top 60. Recently, she's been on the IBU Cup, but her last international races were at the Junior World Championships in Östersund, where she missed in the mass start 69 shots and in the individual 8 shots. So shooting is something she struggled with. But this year in the sprint in Brezno-Worsley, she came 6th, perfect 10 out of 10. At the sprint here in Sjusjøen, perfect 10 out of 10. Now that is a good CV to come into a race like this with. In the last 2 sprint competitions on an international field, Yitterhus has shot clean. And if you want to measure somebody's ability in this race, you have to look at their sprint. Now Yitterhus is being closed in on by Gilon Gigonat and Marlene Fichtner. Gigonat's 2 golds isn't enough for the French. She wants 3. And it's all come down to the final leg, where reasonably you'd be right to assume that France would have an enormous lead by this point, but they don't. They've been playing catch-up, and Guro Yitterhus now in the lead at the 19.3 kilometer mark. Emma Nielsen on the chase. Again, a strong performer, great in the sprints, very often shooting clear. But Nielsen was the 17th fastest skier, 1 minute 18 seconds back. Yesterday, 3 seconds slower than Marlene Fichtner of Germany, who's in ahead of her. And Gigonat, she was 38 seconds back, but of course in the pursuit slowed down on the last lap, so we can assume that would be around about 18 seconds off the pace. So Gigonat, the fastest amongst this group, the second fastest amongst this group, as of yesterday's recordings, Yitterhus. She was only 57 seconds off the pace in the pursuit. So she's in very good form on the skis. And in the last 2 sprint races internationally, Yitterhus has shot 10 out of 10. Hopefully, she can just enjoy this experience today and utilize those rapid skis under her feet. Kudos to the Norwegian wax technicians. But now Gilon Gigonat in control. And is it fair to say now that the French in control for the first time? Well, Henaf did enter chute number 2 in the lead. He only got there at the very last second, as Gilon Gigonat has done now. But Henaf left in 6th place. Nielsen, very likely to do well on the range. So now, for the first of 2 chutes for these final athletes and racers, Gilon Gigonat going into lane 1 for prone. Marlene Fichtner, an exceptional shooter, especially under pressure. Lane 2 now for Germany. And Guro Yitterhus for Norway on lane number 3. Is a hit across the board. There are no misses. This is a masterclass. And Fichtner, the first to get 5 for 5. And Gilon Gigonat does the same. It's a miss for Yitterhus. She loads in the spare. And as she does it, Emma Nielsen is now on the mat beside her. Marlene Fichtner is in the lead by 1.8 seconds. Gilon Gigonat is in second place. And Norway is off the mat, chasing for third. Emma Nielsen needs these 5 to go down, no spares. Can she do it? Yes, she can. Fantastic shooting from the Swede. Emma Nielsen now on the hunt, and she can capitalize on any error made by the 3 at the front. She's within striking distance of the podium. Emma Nielsen in 4th for Sweden. Jitterhus now vulnerable from the chasers. And Italy with what could be the last opportunity to get within striking distance of the podium. Oh, absolutely phenomenal shooting there from Zingerli. Clean, controlled, perfect rhythm between shots, and keeping Italy in contact such that if there are any dramatic errors and penalty loops, she's there. 10 seconds per spare round approximately. And for a penalty loop, 25 seconds. So 3 spares equals 30 seconds plus 25 seconds. That's 55 for 1 penalty loop if it happens at all. And so far, it doesn't look to be likely. Now, Gigonat goes to the front. Fichtner is on her heels. Gigonat with 27 World Cup starts to her name. She raced in Hochfilzen. Had a chance to contend for an Olympic spot, but the French team just too strong. Fichtner of Germany. 15 World Cup starts. And here's a great shot now from the biathlete's perspective, or the coach's perspective, as those targets fall. One deep breath from Fichtner between shots as she exhales some 50% of the oxygen in her lungs. She arrives on the target, pauses for a moment, squeezes the trigger gently. And gently is the pertinent word for this quiet scene out here at the bottom of the course alongside the stream on lap 11 of 12. It all falls now to Gigonat and Fichtner. And we know that Fichtner can handle the pressure. She did on the World Cup in Novo Mesto for the for the single mixed relay, where they did cross the line in first. However, despite covering the ground, getting the targets, there was that disqualification. Fichtner has since overcome that with a 4th in the individual here, and a 6th in the pursuit. She's skiing well, she's shooting well, only 4 mistakes across the 3 races, 50 shots, 46 out of 50, under pressure, -11, windy conditions. It's pretty good. Fichtner hit the perfect 10 out of 10 and 20 out of 20 in the single individual, in the pursuit, and the sprint in Arbor. All of the targets down, all 50 of them. Consistently, she shoots with accuracy, and at the the European champs last year, Fichtner managed to get a silver medal in the individual. Nielsen now 49.6 seconds down. She may not be fighting for a gold medal, but she is losing time. 12 seconds exactly. 12.6 seconds exactly. And Jitterhus has lost 6 seconds, so is skiing slower than Gigonat and Fichtner, who you can see here. This brilliant drone shot showing us the perspective of these biathletes as they come down into the stadium area. Fichtner just able to stand up and enjoy her recovery for a few extra moments as Gigonat stands up and starts to doppeldance, as the locals will call it. Skate 2, V2, one skate. But now, can the French just add yet another victory onto their dominant World Championship repertoire? Or can Germany, for the first time at this championship, get a gold medal? They've had a silver and a bronze. France has had 4 golds, 2 silvers and 6 bronzes. And it will be decided in these next moments. Gillian Gigonat, the 2-time gold medalist, will be going on to lane 1. And Fichtner, the cool-minded, sharp shooter, on lane number 2. Gigonat on the right, Fichtner on the left. Gillian with the first hit. 2 hits from Gigonat. Fichtner is still clean. Both athletes have got all the targets down, no misses. And Gigonat goes 5 out of 5, but Fichtner misses the last shot. And it looks like France is going to be going for gold. Absolute domination. Gigonat, without hesitation, gets all the targets down. No spares required, but a quick reload from Fichtner. She's out 8.3 seconds down. Ytterhus now with a miss. She's shooting for the bronze medal, but she has Emma Nielsen on the mat trying to depose the Norwegian. But Ytterhus, with a controlled load of the spare round, gets the 5th target down and now has an advantage over Emma Nielsen, who has to shoot clear but misses the 3rd. Gets the remaining targets, but now Ytterhus is clear. Emma Nielsen still in the range with the target standing, and she gets the last shot. Emma Nielsen, 9 out of 10, 1 spare needed to get 10 out of 10. And now Sweden in 4th place, Norway in 3rd, Germany in 2nd, and France in 1st. Now there is the gap. Gillian Gigonat is having to work hard. Yesterday she could take her foot off the gas somewhat on the last lap, the last moments. But Marlene Fichtner is being told by her coaches that she can still do this. 8.3 seconds was the gap as Fichtner came out in 2nd place from the range. And Gigonat will do everything she physically can to keep that very long, what appears to be 200 meters or so of space between them, as consistent as possible. Now, they are on a fast stretch, so that will tighten up as they hit the slower parts of the course. And this lens here now showing our 3rd place, Ytterhus of Norway, who held it together well. 41.6 seconds back. She's not going to contend for silver or gold. There's no doubt about that. But she also seems pretty safe from 3rd. Emma Nielsen would have to pull something extraordinary out of the bag to be able to close that gap. And Emma Nielsen herself looking comfortable in 4th. But why not try? Anything could happen. Another day of celebration for France. This was not an easy battle, and if it does turn out to be a win, it certainly wasn't an easy one. They were playing catch-up all the time. Henaf had a brief moment where she took France into the lead, but it was so brief. Fichtner now surely knows that that gap is insurmountable, as Gillian Gigonat passes the 23.6 kilometer mark with a lead now far exceeding 8 seconds, 13.9 seconds. So Fichtner losing time She will not close that gap now between now and the finish. And you can tell that by the energy of the coaches. There would be screams of enthusiasm if there was hope. And now we can now marvel at Gillon Gigonat's composure and control on the shooting range. To be able to come in and get all of those targets down without any spares after such success leading into the races. It was amazing to see. Yitterhus now 51 seconds back, still working hard. And the best team on the day are going to claim it. But they did it in style and with drama. The conclusion was predictable, but the journey to that conclusion was most definitely not predictable. Who would have thought? And now, Celia Hanaf led the way. Voldia Gamas-Pala took leg 2. Sophie Chauveau in leg 3. And now, Gillon Gigonat coming in towards the finish line to claim the gold medal for the women's 4x6 kilometer relay here at the European Champs. It's another gold to add to France's medal table. They are unstoppable at this level. And in silver medal position now, coming across the line, Marlene Fichtner of Germany with a fantastic result. So close, within 20 seconds of the leaders. And here is your bronze medal. Guro Yitterhus of Norway held it together well, but just didn't have what it took to fight against Gigonat and Fichtner. Guro Yitterhus now in front of her home audience on home snow, coming in to the finish line to claim the bronze medal for Norway. 56 seconds down, and a fantastic result. Uni Arnakliev took out leg 1, Marta Nevland leg 2. Uni Arnakliev and now Sweden coming in towards the line for 4th place. A great result for Nielsen, who, if she was in contact with the leaders, perhaps could have stayed there and could have contended for a top spot. And apologies, I read out the Norwegian start order from a different race just then. It was Kalkenberg leg 1, Erdal 2, Arnakliev 3, and Yitterhus in 4. Now as we turn our attention to Italy, and Linda Zingerli coming in towards the line to claim 5th for the Italians. A great performance. And none of the top 5 around the penalty loop. A very different picture to the men's race this morning, where penalty loops were being thrown around left, right and centre, just like the rounds in prone and stand. But your winners today, ladies and gentlemen, Celia Hanaf of France, Voldia Gamas-Pala, Sophie Chauveau, and Gillon Gigonat, as she bounces over the line one last time at this European Championships to claim the gold medal in the women's relay. True domination, and nobody would have predicted otherwise, but now 5 gold medals for the French, 3 of which belong to Gillon Gigonat. And the cam after the storm, as we look at the Hitas here in Natrostillen, the alpine slope, and as the lifts run up, And we wait for the remaining racers to come in. And now we can see Slovakia, who have done the most fantastic job of maintaining their spot. They're wearing bib number 12. They certainly were not estimated to be up there at the very sharpest end. And now Julia Mashinikova of Slovakia will be taking in the final 300 meters without any threat of being overtaken, and can enjoy what has been a very challenging set of races here. And Mashinikova now coming in, 25-year-old, raced in the sprint, raced in the individual, didn't qualify for the pursuit. But now the Slovakians will be getting a 6th place and have earned it with every round fired and every pole plant. What a performance, brought home by Julia Mashinikova, who has every right now to fall down onto her knees and gasp for that very cold air. And now Poland coming in with Sjusjøen in 7th place, and Austria coming in 8th place.
7 and 8th place for Austria.
7th place. A good result for Poland. Ukraine, 2 penalty loops on the day and 11 spares used. They come across the line in 9th. And Plechakova now in 10th for Czechia. And taken across the line by Mika Solova. And now the United States and Levins, who is going to be taking them across the line. A good result. And only 4 spares used on the day. So the best shooting of the day to go to United States. And Finland also having really exceptional shooting today. Italy, only 5 spares used. Sweden, only 5 spares used. The top end of this race today was just such a high level, with France, Germany, Norway, and Sweden all just pushing the pace. And there were times where I was beginning to wonder whether France was going to be able to regain composure and get to the front. But Gilon Gigonat just had that extra little bit to give, as now Finland comes across the line in 12th place, 4 spares used, as mentioned. And that was Erika Janka with leg number 1, Hanna Koski, leg number 2, Rebecca Sandnas, leg number 3, and then Inka Remas taking it home for Finland. Lithuania, they were there or thereabouts throughout this race, doing a really, really good job. And they didn't manage to hold it, but Urumova coming now towards the finish line to claim 13th place. And now Sarah Urumova will be pleased with the 13th spot. And the lap teams that are confirmed is Canada, Kazakhstan, Bulgaria, Estonia, and Belgium. Surprise for Estonia, but here's your unofficial results now for the win, 4x6 kilometer relay, where France has established and reinforced their dominance with another win. Germany in 2nd and Norway in 3rd. I don't think there were many who questioned whether France could win, but I think that was about as close as it could have got for any other team to stand in opposition to them. Marlene Fichtner, even if she got that last shot, would have struggled to stay with Gigonat on the last hill, as she was performing so well. So now the overall medal standings, 13 medals go to France, 5 of which are gold. Norway in second place with 2 gold medals. Ukraine in third at the end of this Open European Championships with only 1 gold medal, with Mercushnea at the beginning in the individual. But 1 gold medal gets them up in front of Germany and Italy, who Germany have 2 silver. No golds. Italy 1 silver. No bronze either. Germany only 1 bronze to their name. Celia Hanaf having the bib adjusted prior to the prize-giving ceremony, and Amandine Mongeon there helping out. Not part of the race today, as I noted at the beginning. Beauté and Mongeon did not get to start. There could have been any variation of the 6 French athletes, and they still would have been the favourite. And I'd even argue that with Galmas-Paulin performing a little bit off beat for this championships, they put forward actually one of their weaker variations. And do stay with us while we watch the medal ceremony. But I've been Scott Dixon, taking you through all of these races, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. From the very beginning, we've had so much drama, so much excitement, and such high-level performances. Many of these biathletes could have been capable of top-level World Cup results, and have done in the past, and will do in the future. Your third and bronze medal position racers for today. For Norway, Emilie Ågheim Kalkenberg, Karolina Erdal, Juni Arnekliev, and Guru Yitterhus, taking them across the line for bronze. Germany in second, silver medal. Marika Braun on leg number 1. Hannah Kebinger in leg number 2. Julia Kink on 3. And Marlene Fichtner on leg number 4. Your winners, gold medals. So many gold medals, they won't know where to put them. Celia Henaf of France. Voldia Galmas-Paulin, the sharpshooter, the fast skier, whose performances have just been a little off the beat here at this Games, but it didn't make a difference today. Sophie Chauveau, leg number 3, powerful performance, staying on the heels of the leaders until Gilon Gigonat got past and claimed the victory, the European Championships gold medal for France, to add to their tally 13 medals in total. And the prize-giving ceremony and medal ceremony is just around the corner while they set that up. So do stay around to experience that, and in the meantime we can look at some of the statistics that we have in terms of total course time. The fastest on leg 1 was Braun of Germany, just getting in ahead of Hanaf, and Galmas-Paulin was the fastest on leg number 2, just in terms of ski speed. Chauveau was the fastest on leg 3, and Gigonat the fastest on leg 4. As for the actual leg times, that includes the shooting, the range time, penalty loops if they have any, the full shebang. The leg 1 was dominated by Andersson of Sweden, a performance which really must be on the forefront of our memories as we look back on this race. They really did great, the Swedes. Hedström of Sweden was the fastest leg 2, so Sweden had the fastest first 2 legs, and that's including the shooting time, so this is the overall on the leg. And then Arne Kliev had the fastest leg 3. So France just down the order in 3rd on leg 2, in 4th on leg 1. Excuse me, no, 3rd on leg 1 as well. And 2nd on leg 3, but then finally 1st on leg 4. So all came down to Gigonat. She brought France back. France were, of course, ahead by 16 at the finish line, but at exchange 3, they were 7 seconds behind. They were 18 seconds behind on exchange 2, and they were 13 seconds behind on exchange 1. The leaders kept changing. Sweden, France, Sweden, Norway, with Germany there and about, taking the lead at various points, but France always playing catch up, and yet despite that were able to find their way back in. Testament to that incredibly accurate fast shooting from Gilon Gigonat at the very end.
Celia, congrats, you're a European champion. How does it feel to win this relay with the girls?
Yes, thank you. It's a lot of emotion with the crazy team. And it's an amazing race for finish my European Championships.
That's nice to hear. Volja, you're also a European champion. Congrats. How was it for you today on the course?
Yeah, I had a good feeling on the track, and it was very close with the other team. And my stunning shooting was a little bit complicated with 3 extra bullets, but my teammates did a great job, and finally it's a win for us, so yeah, it's amazing.
Perfect. Like you said, relay is about trust, teammates, support. How was the race for you, Sophie?
Actually, it was a bit stressful. We were not on the lead when I took my relay, but I just enjoyed it so much during the track, and for one time my standing shooting was amazing and fast and clean, so it was a lot of fun, and yeah, that was amazing to watch after that, the race of Gilon.
We saw that all of the other teammates watched it. Gilon, you were the last athlete for the team. How was the week? Can you summarize, because you won so many medals?
Yeah, it was a good day for me and for all the team. I really want to finish well for the whole team, and it's what I did today. I'm very happy about today and all the European Championship.
Merci. Thank you.
And that's only 4 of the 6 potential French athletes that could have been standing there at the top of the podium today, having earned that success. As we look once more at Natra Steeland's beauty, a place I've personally lived for 3 months of my life, alone in the summer, training here in the 40-lane range, where Johannes Dalle Chevdal would occasionally frequent. And what beautiful production as well that the IBU has put up for this event, really showcasing the venue in its most positive light with these incredible drone shots, camera angles, and really telling the story in a phenomenal way, not missing a beat. And it's these races that so many people want to tune in for and keep tabs on the progress, because really you understand what nations are developing and which nations are developing best by watching these races. The Junior World Championships, of course, coming in just about a month's time, where that will be in Arbor, Germany, starting on the 25th of February. And again, you will see where development is working over the world. Last year at the Junior World Championships in Östersund, the overall medals, would you believe it, went to France. 6 golds, 6 silvers, 4 bronze medals. Absolute domination, 16 in total. Norway only with 10 in total. Germany with 8, Sweden with 2, one of which was gold, 1 silver. And yeah, the development is really in the favor of France. You can see that at the junior and youth level. Even if you do separate it as youth, the French were 4 golds and Germany were 2 golds. At the junior level, France had 2 golds, 3 silvers, 1 bronze, 6 medals in total. Norway did beat them on the junior level with 4 gold medals. And then if you look at the IBU Cup, where are the points going? Who are the overall leaders in the Nation Cup scores? And it's the same story over and over. The top 5 best athletes on the IBU Cup total score are all French. 3 of them under 23. Vaudy Galmas-Palin, Cilia Henaf, and Amandine Mongeon. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage of this event over the course of the last 5 days. I have been Scott Dixon, taking it over the course of the weekend and before. I hope you've enjoyed listening, watching, and participating by clicking on these videos and staying tuned. So the women, for the French, dominating, and for the men's IBU Cup total score, France with Antonin Guiganat at the very top. 4 French in the top 5, with Vetle Paulsen dropped to 2nd from Norway. But now, let's turn our attention back to the medal ceremony. Emilia Ågheim Kalkenberg, Caroline Erdal, Juni Arnekliev, Guru Yittihus. Consistent performances, no drops across the quadro, and here they are, bronze medalists. They wouldn't have been dubbed as being favorites for 3rd, but they got there nevertheless, and Arnekliev being one of the pivotal performers there. Erdal doing such a great job to maintain that spot, but all of them, in fact, just doing such a top-level performance for their team on their home snow. A lot of them will know this stadium inside and out, having trained here so much over the years. Now, your silver medalists today, we have Germany with Marika Braun, Hanna Kebinger, Julia Kink, and Marlene Fichtner. Germany not getting the gold throughout this championship, but now with 3 silver medals and 1 bronze. And Marlene Fiechner on to the podium. Your winners, as many would have predicted. France, Celia Henaf, Voldia Galmas-Paula, Sophie Chevaux, and Gilon Guigonat. 3 gold medals for Gilon Guigonat. A happy payday alongside the success and notoriety that comes with 3 victories in a row. That's a good weekend. Antonin Guigonat, her brother, winning on the Thursday, and that medal somewhat overshadowed by the fact that her sister won 3 in a row. Guigonat so close to, also Gilon Guigonat I should say, so close in the individual to getting a gold, but today they dominated. And it came from an exceptional performance. One of those 1% performances that just shone at the very end. Gilon Guigonat pulling the French team back. And there is your top 3. France with the gold medal, Germany with silver, and Norway with bronze.
And now, in honor of the winners and European champions, the national anthem of France.
Now we will hear the national anthem. And that will be all. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you've enjoyed these races as much as we have bringing them to you. Until Sjusjøen next week for the IBU Cup, and until the Olympic Games in just over a week's time, we wish you well. Take care.